Elizabeth Báthory, a name that evokes terror and fascination. Known as the Blood Countess, she is said to have tortured and killed hundreds of young women, bathing in their blood to preserve her beauty. But was she truly the monster history remembers her as? Or is there more to this dark legend? Elizabeth was born in 1560 into one of the most powerful families in Hungary. Raised in a world of privilege and power, she grew up witnessing both the grandeur and the brutality of noble life. Tales from her childhood speak of her sharp intelligence, but also her exposure to cruelty. Some say she watched as servants were brutally punished, a common practice in noble courts at the time. At that time, noble families wielded immense authority, and violence was often a display of power. This environment could have shaped Elizabeth's later behavior. At 15, Elizabeth was married to Ferenc Nadasdy, a nobleman from another prominent family. Their marriage brought together two of the most powerful dynasties in Hungary. While her husband was away fighting in wars, Elizabeth took charge of the estates, managing vast lands and a large workforce. She was well educated and known to be a strict ruler over her household. After Ferenc's death in 1604, rumors began to spread about Elizabeth. Some claimed she tortured young servant girls in her castle, using unspeakable methods. These rumors only grew over time, with the most sensational claim being that she bathed in the blood of virgins to maintain her youthful looks. But how much of this can we really believe? At the time, stories of witchcraft, cruelty, and sadism were often used to target powerful women, especially widows like Elizabeth. Her high status and wealth may have made her a prime target for such accusations. In 1610, these rumors reached the King of Hungary, Matthias II, who ordered an investigation into the Countess's actions. As the investigation unfolded, dozens of witnesses came forward with shocking stories, describing how young women would enter Elizabeth's castle and never be seen again. But many of these testimonies came from people with a motive to discredit her, raising questions about the reliability of their claims. It's possible that political and personal motives influenced the accusations against Elizabeth. Some historians believe that her enemies wanted to seize her lands and weaken her family's influence. In December 1610, Elizabeth was arrested in her castle. The authorities claimed to have found evidence of her crimes: gruesome scenes of torture, blood-stained rooms, and mutilated bodies. However, Elizabeth herself was never brought to trial. Instead, she was confined to a room in her castle, where she would remain for the rest of her life. Meanwhile, several of her servants were executed for their roles in the alleged crimes. Elizabeth died in 1614, locked away in her castle. But her story didn't end there. Over the centuries, her legend grew, turning her into the Blood Countess, a figure more terrifying than human. The stories of her sadistic crimes became more elaborate, with each retelling adding new, lurid details. But how much of this legend is true? Many modern historians argue that the number of her victims, claimed to be in the hundreds, was greatly exaggerated. In fact, it's likely that some of the stories about her were entirely fabricated, designed to discredit her and justify the seizure of her estates. Today, historians have worked to unravel the truth about Elizabeth Báthory. While it's clear that some young women died under her watch, there's no concrete evidence to support the idea that she murdered hundreds, or that she bathed in their blood. Instead, it's more likely that Elizabeth was the victim of a political conspiracy, her reputation destroyed by those who sought her wealth and power. In the end, Elizabeth Báthory's life and legacy are far more complex than the stories suggest. She was an intelligent, powerful woman living in a turbulent, male-dominated world. The legends of her cruelty, while captivating, may have been the result of political manipulation and misogyny. The story of Elizabeth Báthory reminds us of the dangers of accepting history at face value. The truth is often more complicated than the legends we inherit. As we reflect on her life, we must ask ourselves, was Elizabeth Báthory truly the monster she's been made out to be, or was she a victim of her time?